All right, guys, here we are to talk about Season 8, Episode 10 of The Walking Dead.
Fuck, I took so many notes. Why did I do this?
Chandler's dead.
Chandler! We messed up. We for the last 7 seasons, we've like fucked up not just for, like calling him Chandler this whole time. That would have been awesome.
Well,
Whoop-ha!
You can only say Carl for so long. Carl!
Get in the
So
house,
you gotta
Carl.
say Chandler. Well, because now he's no longer Carl. Carl is dead.
Now he
Chandler
is Chandler.
Is also dead.
When Carl dies, Chandler rises from the ashes like a phoenix.
He's much like the phoenix.
Like a two-eyed phoenix.
A two-eyed phoenix, the rare said...
Like, not with a weird, clumsy bandage on for, like, months and months. So Carl is, in fact, dead.
Yep.
Not that we didn't think he was, but since last episode, despite seeing them digging something, right?
Sure.
I kind of began to formulate this theory, and in the recap here, they re-emphasize that he says, I gotta do this myself, and they go outside, and then it's like, phew. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe he's not dead. And he's completely dead. Obviously, he's dead.
100% dead.
100% dead.
I was almost angry because
okay.
he took his gun and put it on the cross, and I was like, are you leaving a functional gun with a silencer?
Yes.
What the fuck? And then he was like, and took it back. And I was like, all right. And I thought that was going to play some key part later on because he tucked that into the back of his pants. So I thought there was going to be something where like someone takes his gun and he has that gun, but it didn't.
I noticed the silencer on there, though, too, and I was like, that's weird. Why do you have a silencer, and why would you shoot yourself with a silencer? Some weird angle I have to do or whatever.
You don't want to damage your hearing when killing yourself.
Everyone's deaf on this show. Speaking of that moment, before we move on, I liked, in effect, with like body language, Rick's like, I need a minute here, and Michonne's out of focus in the background, like chopping zombies up, and he's like kneeling by the grave, like paying his last respect. Like shit like that. There's rare, brief moments where I'm like, oh, this is like capturing a mood here, and I like this.
Well, I like Michonne has a tendency, like that's how she gets her emotions out. She kills things.
Yeah.
And there's a limitless supply of these zombie corpses to destroy.
And also, he's like overwhelmed, and she, now they're like a couple. They have like the unit thing, right? And she's kind of like she's dealing with it her way, he's dealing with it his way, but she's also like protecting him so nothing sneaks up on him. Yeah. Right? I was like, oh, this is wonderful.
Oh, she can't lose another thing.
She can't lose anything else.
She can't lose any more Grimeses.
And then they have to do like fire extinguisher stuff with the gazebo, and make me go like, why is this happening? Well, what are you doing?
I understand it a little bit.
Emotions? Is that what you're saying? You play the emotions card?
Well, your thing is you're eventually planning on winning the war, moving back there. Yeah. And, like, while, yes, you potentially could build another gazebo, it's a lot easier to save one than it is to build another one.
I know, but there's
because that's not just a building; that's like an artistic building thing. Like you might not be able to do that. Like certain people can't picture how to do things like that.
Oh, that's giving it so much. I feel like if you felt the way I feel about it, you'd be like, "That's bullshit." No.
Oh no! I think it's dumb.
Everywhere. Okay.
I think it's dumb. I'm trying to rationalize it any way I can. And like when things have emotional value,
it has sentimental value. Yeah, to them. Totally. I just was like, and like I kind of liked how they dealt with it. Just him being like, Michonne, and just like shaking his head, being like nah, like this is not working out. And she goes, ugh, and like drops it and like starts chopping, and I'm like, okay. It's a little inconsistent with so like it's inconsistent, but this is when the pendulum swings this way. I like it when it's like there's 20 or 30 zombies and now we're fucked. Not like there's 20 or 30 zombies and I
have to push things gently and move.
Yes, which sucks. And that takes away from like I'm no longer afraid because I'm like, well, Rick and Michonne were out on their like weird day trip where there were this many zombies and they were just laughing about it and it was fine and the deer died. Yeah. And they were like, hoo, we're so awesome at this and all that stuff. So I'm like, whatever. But I like it when it's like this because it should be dangerous when there's all these zombies. When there's this
depending on your location, more or less dangerous. But yes. I like it when they at least approach it with the air of, hey, I could die here.
Yeah.
This could be my last... my son just died from one of these.
Speaking of which, people do die from this still.
Yeah. Right? Not recently, but they do die.
Well, but it's a nice reminder that, like, that is still, like, an issue. Where it's, like, right, because we've been so busy with, like, double crosses and triple crosses. And did you do the poison yet or no? And then we misdirected and we, like, trapped you and then you died off camera and all that. No, he just literally was bitten by a zombie for fucking once. He didn't die to zombies in the midst of something else, right? He just accidentally got bitten by a zombie.
Yep.
Which should probably happen more, because holy shit.
Yeah.
There's zombies everywhere.
The idea that headless zombies can bite you, or A zombie without a
bodiless
body,
zombies.
yeah.
Yeah.
It, like everything could get you.
Yeah.
There were a couple things I loved in this episode.
Yeah.
That like meat grinder fucking thing.
Okay, sure.
So they go to the Junkrats village.
Okay, we're gonna get into the all caps parts of the notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They go to the Junkrats village, who previously has been visited by Negan's men.
Yeah, so the timeline gets a little messy, so we're not gonna go right chronologically. We'll just say
So
right.
Negan's men get there, and he's instructed to kill one to
Does
get
not-
them back in
does not do
line.
that.
And yeah, he murders fucking everyone except for the, whatever. But he finally asks the questions that we've always like been asking, like, what the hell's with you people?
And does not get satisfying answers.
No,
at
no
all.
answer at all.
Okay.
We're artists. This is my art or some bullshit. All right, you're all dead.
Okay, we're gonna have to scroll.
It's been
scroll
8
down.
years and they lost all ability to speak English.
Okay. What's up with the helipad in the back? What was this place? And she goes, like a junkyard or landfill or like whatever. And then he leans in and says, I want to know if you know. Or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, God damn it, you bastards. The only thing that would make this worse is if literally all but one of you died and then started speaking normal language again for no reason. And that's what happened. I'm so upset.
Yes.
I'm literally so upset. Because she says, there was remorse, you son of a bitch. And in my head, I'm like, that's almost a sentence. Is she just going to drop it now? Was it all an act? Why would anyone do that? That doesn't make any sense. And it still doesn't make sense. It makes less sense if it's fake or intentional than if there was a reason.
Yes.
Right? And when they were like, solar panels, helipad, I'm like, government test facility. Some fucking reason. Some Z Nation in my Walking Dead where some crazy shit's happening. And no, that's just an explanation for why the grinder has power and that there's something happening or whatever, right? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I was screaming at the screen. I was full of rage. It was awful.
And seemingly the only power they've ever used, because we've not seen lights or anything at this place.
Nope, we've never seen it at night.
No, it's
We don't
true.
know where the people live. We've never seen them eat. We have no idea what's going
I
on.
saw her eat once in this
Okay.
episode. She went to a filing
Yes,
cabinet.
I'm sorry. Okay, so up until now, we have never seen any
I
of
thought
these
when
things
she went
happen.
for that filing cabinet,
A
because
gun.
it's like doom, doom, I thought it was going to be a passageway that took her to
Okay.
some downstairs underground bit.
Some awesome
That
facility.
really, them stacking that trash was them covering like certain things.
Yep,
It's
that
like
would've
a
been
missile
awesome.
silo or some bullshit.
Would have been great. And there still might be something. I think that they're grooming. So, like, several times during her, we'll just talk about her, Jadis. We'll just talk about the whole thing. So she's in like her nightgown, right? And she grinds the people. We get some awesome shots of her fucked up feet from being barefoot. I don't know why she's barefoot, because in like the flashback, they don't like strip her down or something like that. She just chooses to take her shoes off or something like that. It makes absolutely no
Was
sense.
she not always barefoot, maybe? I've never looked at her feet before.
They've never shown her feet, like given special attention to her like feet, but she was wearing clothing when she punched Simon.
Yes.
So like, unless they took off her clothing, I don't know why she's walking around barefoot surrounded by zombies. It seems like a bad idea.
Well, she's lost everything, and this is her losing everything.
for tetanus alone. Yeah,
It's not like it's a junkyard, Lee. God.
full of whatever. Oh my God. Ugh. When Michonne and Rick get there, there's like a cave-in, and it goes into some sort of like digital slowdown, like Shadow Vision or whatever, to like put the shots together to make them salvage them and have them make sense or something like that. Like they like After Effects like shake the screen like it's a rumbling cave-in, but it's just like strollers and like mattresses and bullshit just falling onto like this random opening, and then they act like we're fucked, and it's like you could just
That's
what?
something
This
that
is
I don't
crazy.
Just the hell let me out. I'm like, is it not a pile of trash all the way around? Can you not just walk over this pile of trash anywhere?
Yeah, you should just, I mean, it might be difficult to climb. It might be preferable to go through like the shipping container tunnel, but I'm sure you're up on a pile now. Just go to the other pile if it's not connected, or go to the other end. She acts like there's no way out.
Yeah.
I'm so upset, Stefan.
Those
this
things
is
do
the-
drive me nuts.
This is the culmination of like over a season of like, who are these people? What's going on? They ride bikes.
Who were these people?
Who were these people? They're finally done after all of this, and like Negan calls it out. It's like a triple cross. It's all this bullshit back and forth. And the whole premise here was, I brought them back with me, and Savior saw them, so they're gonna be a target too. We gotta get to them before they do, and all that stuff. And I'm like, I was like, all caps, exclamation point, question mark. Like, why would would you trust them? You have all of Carl's letters, the one of a kind, like emissary of the future's like wisdom to like pass out to the whole group, and you make a detour to go to the Junkrat hideout where like they've literally put you in your underwear and tried to feed you to a zombie so that she could sculpt your corpse forever.
He's got the protection of the plot. He cannot be harmed.
Oh my god, I can't. It's like too much for me. I'm so upset.
No, it was brutal.
Let me check my
notes. It was brutal. They're actually, it seems as though they're actively trying each episode to do something where I'm like, well, you cut that path off and ruined it forever, and now will we ever know? I don't know. We have one Junkrat left, the leader. She's clearly going to make it out because she has grinded all of her zombie friends. They're dead now.
And you liked the grinder, you said. So
I did. I liked the grinder. I thought a thing
cool
things like that are cool. Where it's like, how will we ever survive? Oh, sweet! Like ding, ding, ding. Gets them to come and then just kill them.
I liked it because, and even the way that it was filmed, like I want to give them credit too for where they do things in a good way, even if I don't like what they're doing overall, right? So she's banging, and you see her fucked up feet, and you see her like face, and she's like, and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, she's like, come and get it, boys, fucking fuck me up, fam, like it's over, or whatever the fuck.
And the grinder looked pretty good too, like you saw the people and them going down, like that was a well done shot.
And I liked that because sometimes the zombies behave in a way that's kind of unrealistic. It's fucking stupid to say, but something like that. Like they are dumb enough to just keep walking towards her. Yeah. And like the noise of the grinder and her like supple, delicious flesh and all that stuff. So they keep just walking in a straight line, which is like, oh shit, there you go.
It's kind of like a little cattle chute. They're trapped.
Exactly.
The ones from behind walking are pushing the ones forward into it, and when he gets to the last one, he's like, I'm in, bro, and jumps.
But they don't have like the self-preservation to even like worry about it, which is realistic for how zombies are like supposed to function, which is great. And she gets to see her like lieutenants and be like, oh, not you. Yep, you're fucking dead as fuck. And all that stuff. That all means that like Simon and them like intentionally did like chest shots wherever possible to like make them be zombies and stuff like that too.
I think it's just easier if you're gonna aim center mass and turn for hit shots.
Why not?
They only have so much ammunition. They did get some more guns, but
yeah,
I think it was just clip per gun. I don't think they had given the Junkrats a large supply of ammunition.
Yeah, if anything, I'm going to interpret this as like a more or less break-even endeavor now.
Yes, I would agree.
Because they took from them, but they also had to use stuff to take them out or fight with them or whatever. I didn't like that it all happened off camera, but like at a certain point, I understand you have a budget you have to worry about.
Yeah.
It ends with her pissed off, eating the applesauce, the rations, whatever. I'm assuming, was there a line that made me think this? I feel like now she hates Negan and Rick, and they're making her out to be this like she's gonna be waiting there for when they need someone to show up and fuck something up. She's gonna show up and fuck something up.
I think she will head off, out of that village at some point, and to somebody else. I don't know if she knows how to get to anywhere except for Alexandria.
Right, 'cause she's been there and stuff. We haven't seen her too many other places. I didn't like her character when she talked like a caveman. I don't love her character now, but it's bearable because she's speaking with sentences.
Much more bearable.
Do you think she does the Morgan thing and wanders the earth and then shows up at a convenient moment and ends up joining the group?
It's hard to say. I do think she will be a part of the group for at least a few episodes.
I think that she hates Negan, and she will show up to do something bad to Negan, maybe die in the process. But if not, right, because Rick and Michonne drive away, and Michonne's like, do you think that's like what Carl was talking about? Like, maybe don't fucking leave people to get eaten? And he was like, no, I just,
I shot over her head. I didn't kill her.
He acted like, come on, like, or whatever about it. So I think that's going to plant the seed that when he sees her again, he'll be like, okay, listen, we've both done some things.
Yeah, we're even now.
All right?
Whatever.
For example, you shot me, which would have totally killed me, like directly in like my kidney pelvis zone from like 3 feet away, and I left you at your house.
I left you alive
with your friends. So hey, and that thing with the shipping container where you wanted to sculpt me or whatever the fuck. Oh, and she was painting when they got there, and he's like, "This is good. Did you do this?" And it's like the worst fucking bullshit shit ever.
That was like a Picasso type painting. Like,
I hate that.
I don't like that kind of painting.
Okay.
I also don't understand how it got to the edge of the grinder.
No, nothing makes sense.
No.
Because that was like the metaphor.
Of
it was
course,
like
but
the
it's one of those things where it's
and
like,
the
come on,
painting,
man.
And then it gets splattered with the guts of like we tried to build something here, a community. It could have been different. Like all those, her entire speech like meant nothing. What do you mean? We tried to do something different here with garbage and talking like cavemen, all right? And now it's ruined. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
That was a 40-year study that's finally come to an end.
I would love to like devote like a month of research to like breaking down the failure of this entire like subplot of the show. It's
The Junkrats have done nothing for the show.
It's done now. The whole thing's done. They just used them.
Not yet.
What do you
There's
mean?
one left.
Yeah,
the
no.
Junkrats can still ruin something.
I know that, but now it's like and now it's manageable, and it's like this one character, right?
Yeah.
But the entire thing, I feel like writers like came and like went, and they were like, "How do we make them stop talking like cavemen? We can't do that now. They all talk like cavemen. Really? No. He's had lines. No, they all talk like cavemen. We've like established that. We just have to kill them all. Oh my god, what do we do? Right? Like this is some crazy shit that's happening. There's like a story behind this. There has to be.
I would love to know what it is.
We've gone on for long enough about this.
Yes.
Speaking about what happened there, Simon was the one leading the thing. He became too gung-ho. He did all that stuff.
No, he's a crazy man.
This is part of the sowing of dissent, right, in Negan's ranks.
Yeah.
They are rounding out Negan as we predicted, and now Simon is like the dude who's like wanting to be extra bad
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I find it funny because I kind of liked the character. And
Simon?
Now, and
He had an
now,
awesome mustache,
He's
and he
probably
still
gonna be
does.
dead.
He's gonna die eventually, right? Because Negan's gonna figure out about his
Sooner than
treachery.
later. I don't know exactly how he'll find out, but at
Yeah.
some point he'll find out. It seems like he always does. And then he'll like put his hand in the fire or whatever the hell he does.
Well, I don't want to see him with burned face or whatever.
Now he'll jump right over that. I'll give him like burned testicles or something.
Something horrible will happen. Is that all with Simon? They had some good dialogue. That was a cool thing.
Sure.
I kind of liked all that bullshit.
No, I like the character. The character is good. I don't know if it made sense to kill everybody though the way he did.
It did not. He was angry.
I understand anger, I suppose, but
Well, he was okay. So, like, to put it more into like perspective, he was angry at Maggie and the Hilltop,
yeah.
and took it out on the Junkrat people, which is exactly, now that we're half retconning, half developing Negan's character, it's exactly what Negan is like does not want them to do.
Yeah.
Or whatever, which is cool. But I kind of like Simon's perspective. Why don't we just scrape the like trash off the plate and like go find a new place to eat or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It makes sense, but it's not exactly his way. Because if he
Well, it's
shows,
not Negan's way.
yeah, if he shows any weakness, and I think he will assume anything other than killing somebody's weakness, you've already lost.
What do
You
you
gotta
mean?
burn someone's face just to show you're tough.
Negan?
Yeah.
For like Rick and no. So like Simon wants to kill all those people, like Rick and everybody, and just obliterate everybody and find new communities.
Oh,
and all
I
that
meant
stuff.
with his own
Yeah.
people. There can be no weakness. You'll do it my way. And now if they're not doing it his way, I think he's gonna have to kill Simon.
Oh no, exactly. That's what I was saying. Is like once Simon's treachery comes, like full.
I don't know
whatever,
how he'll hear about it because I don't
Rick
think.
could tell him. He could say, "Well, go talk to the garbage people," and he'll go like, "About that, I wasn't fully whatever or some shit like there'll be some fucking thing or whatever." I like him smoothing it over, and they called special attention to like the blue paint on his boots and all that stuff.
Yes.
Which is dumb because that doesn't mean anything by
No.
itself. So whatever.
Even after that, it still doesn't really mean anything.
But they call attention to it, so I feel like that'll come into play, and that'll be how Negan knew something or bullshit, whatever.
What else happens in this episode? We didn't have any Maggie.
We didn't have any Maggie, but they did open the coffin from Maggie, which is what
Yeah,
spurred on
it
those
tells-
events
yeah.
that we just talked about. Maggie was in, so like the recap included the Junkrats, Maggie's prisoners and stuff, and the Oceanside dead grandma thing.
Yeah, so we got Oceanside.
Is that what it's called, or is that the name that I made up for it?
Oceanside is the name of it.
Sweet.
Oceanside is where we got some people, and like they've been let go, and they're going back apparently.
After a few tense moments.
Sure, but just to run to the cap, the kingdom is free. Everyone there that was bad is dead, right? And
Yes. I mean, yes.
then we have the hilltop, which has no bad guys, and they've even captured like 37 of them.
Right.
And then we have nobody in Alexandria now because Rick and Michonne were walking around there all willy-nilly.
Alexandria's over.
So now the only bad guys are at the regular facility. Like,
right.
their thing.
You have Simon and Arat is out and about.
Yes.
I forget where she's supposed to be headed to or from, but she's out and about.
There's certainly less of them now than there ever were.
Yeah.
I think it's the time to strike.
No, it's a logical time to want to fight, and like their arguments are logical and sound, and the Oceanside, the ladies at Oceanside are not having it.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to be on their patrols and see the people from Fear the Walking Dead in the coming episodes? And like,
are we still waiting for that? Is that supposed to happen now?
I don't even know if that. I think that's next season.
Okay.
I think. Kirkman did say it at Comic-Con.
Oh.
Or he was asked it, and then it got revealed while we were at Comic-Con this year. So revealing that, it could be this, because this wasn't out yet. So it could be this, but it's probably next season.
I fear it may have already happened, and we just didn't know. That's the kind of shit.
Oh, do you think it's on Fear the Walking Dead and not on Walking Dead?
No. I mean, like, even if it's here, some of these people could have been someone. I just have no fucking idea. Because I don't know anyone from Fear the Walking Dead or whatever.
I don't either, but I assume they'll be protected by plot and they'll say who they are. We're from Los Angeles or where the fuck.
It will have to come into play. That's a plausible thing that could happen with Aaron and doing like his, because he was this whole thing where Enid's like he sends Enid home.
I hate Enid.
I know. Okay, real quick. So
can she die?
Now we're doing title cards apparently because it popped up.
Yeah, what
Enid's
the fuck
name.
was that? Like the first time ever.
Real quick, Enid, do we do title cards now? Simon, I guess we are doing title cards. Rick, yep, title cards are a thing or whatever.
Yep.
Like in my notes because I'm like, wait, what? The show has never done title cards ever. Even when they should. Even when you should say 6 months later or back at the Savior camp, like something like that. They just have eschewed those in favor of just here you are zombies. We did deal with it. But we see the title card for Enid, so that implies that this is like her story, and all that really happens is she gives her like brief speech, which makes them not die, and she justifies killing the grandma, Oceanside grandma, by saying like she made me do it by her actions or something like that, which is weird. And then Aaron sends her home, and he's gonna crouch in the woods and wait to like make his move to get them on their side. What I was gonna say is it's like plausible if the Fear the Walking Dead people's boat like maroons down by the beach and some shit's going down. Aaron can interject and like that can be the catalyst to make something happen. Or
maybe, and it's more bodies he could bring to the cause.
And something must fucking happen. All right, after the shit with the Junkrats, we cannot have another situation like that. Because if the Oceanside people don't come into play, and if we don't have resolution during this second half of season 8, where something happens with them, right? Or if everything stops, right? Think about all the episodes with Tara there, and then like when they came back and all that stuff, will all just be for nothing or whatever.
Yeah,
that will break me as a person because now we don't have anything. Prepare to be broken, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. So what did you rank this episode? Do you think it was a good episode?
It was so outrageous. Like
danced around a lot.
There are things here that are okay. There are still things that are good sometimes. We've mentioned a few.
Yeah.
But overall, things are so infuriating. Like the whole time, I was just like, what is happening with the Junkrat thing? I just can't deal with things like that. And it makes things so bad that when something happens later, I can't be like, okay, this show's still good, I guess.
No, because it's not. It's definitely fallen off. I still watch every week because I want to know. I want to see things happen to the characters.
Love the show.
But less and less am I attached to any of the characters, which is hurting my overall caring about the show. Yeah, like Daryl wasn't even in this episode.
I know. Well, so they are on their way. Like when you're doing your recap, I almost cut you off to be like, wait, what about this? So like the whole group, Rosita, Daryl, and Dwight now, right?
Yeah. They're
They're all on the way to Maggie's, the hilltop, right?
Sure.
They left the tube. Carl, Rick, and Michonne stayed behind to bury Carl.
Yeah.
And everyone else should already be at the hilltop. So that's where Rick and Michonne should be going back to like deliver the letters and do all that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
That's like the plan going forward.
Gotta deliver them letters.
There's letters.
Rain, sleet, or snow.
Oh, the post. They call you the postman. Talk about the letters. What is going on here? Rick talks to Negan regarding these letters. He reads Negan's letter.
Yeah, he reads Negan's letter. He tells Negan what his boy
It's a violation
thought about.
of the postage.
Negan, well, it wasn't actually posted.
I'm joking.
Negan,
No
is
stamp.
actually a little touched. He's sad that Carl was dead. He liked Carl.
Did you like that performance? Did you like that?
I
liked
did
it too.
like that. It felt genuine. I thought that was pretty good.
It felt good. Because on a walkie-talkie, you have to go to actually say, "Ah, shit, I'm sorry," or something like that. You have to like intentionally say everything.
Yeah.
God damn. I thought he was the future. I thought he had potential. And I was like, me too, yo.
Yeah, he was a good egg, and now he's a dead egg.
But then Negan goes full sick on him and starts to like tear into him and say,
Yeah, this is your fault.
This is your fault. Yeah, you failed as a leader. You failed as a father. And I'm like, oh, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's kind of not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not entirely right, but he's not wrong.
Well, we should call out, right? So this, because we got these shots of Alexandria and all that stuff, and because Negan has now chosen, I feel like some of this is like retcon, like I hinted at before. I feel like this is not always what this was meant to become. This feels clumsy or something. But he says, like, if you'd have let me save you, everything would be like whatever. And my first thought was, like, Rick in, like, the town square with his gun. How many of you do I have to kill to save you? Or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's on the nose. But at least we're doing it, right? Because that was the whole point of this whole fucking thing, was that, oh, Negan's so bad, what about you? But it made no sense, because Negan was like a cartoon villain, like cutting off people's limbs or something like that, right?
How'd that happen?
Well, to maintain order, right?
Yeah. They had to save him.
Well, so that's the idea, right? It's like maybe, so like the Alexandria people were like indoor cats, and like Rick the tiger came in and like tried to instill order, and they were just being like about it or whatever, right? So now Negan is like another wild animal trying to restrain Rick the wild animal, and has to use more extreme measures to do so. So it's like logical that they would have to take those steps.
Yeah. It just the show itself is not. It's not what it once was. It's just like a shell of what it once was. Yeah. And I don't think it's ever too late. I think it can certainly come back from where it is. It just it has to grab you. If you don't care, like they do something more to make you care about these characters. Because if you're not caring about the characters, not invested in the characters, there's nothing to fear for losing them. Yeah. And there's no risk. It loses its interest.
Well, so does this just go back to the same thing we've said before? Is the only way to fix this is to go back in time 3 years, kill more people more quickly, and get new people in?
I think you can still save it from where it is now. Okay. You just have to do something. Stop dicking around with these saviors and bullshit, and finish that task, move on to the next arc, hope for the best.
Make the arcs shorter, maybe? More concise?
I think the arcs will take as long as they take. I don't think there's a good way to just cut or shorten it.
I feel like these are prolonged is what I'm getting at.
Yes, I think they have I don't know, 7 episodes worth of content that they spread into 10 episodes, 11 episodes, 13 episodes, whatever it is.
Yeah, easily.
And that's where the problem is.
That's definitely one of the problems. So I'm hoping that the dip in ratings is going to force them, because something like things
force them to cut their budget and make it worse. Yeah, probably.
Things feel like they are changing. Stuff is actually happening, and hopefully we're not in store for another 5 or 6 episodes of bland nothingness until more things happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of extreme things and things happening, we forgot to mention Morgan pulling out that guy's intestines.
Yeah, that happened.
That did happen. We chose not to. So, I actually thought that it was pretty telling that we forgot to mention it.
Do you?
Yes, because that was a super extreme moment. It was a whole part of, like we talked about the whole thing. We talked about Morgan, stalking Gavin and Gavin's death and that whole scene and everything coming to a head.
But we left out that part.
You even mentioned, oh, there's that fake wall that we saw Zeke duck behind before, and that's where they're going to come out of, and then the grenade. We talked about the whole thing, but the most visceral, striking, shocking moment of it, we both happened to forget.
Sure.
Right?
It's in my nature to forget.
No, I think that it was not gratuitous, but it was this extreme moment to try to make a point. And Gavin goes, "You're sick," and walks away and all that stuff, or whatever. But it was cartoony. It was out of place and weird. It didn't feel real or something like that. So I in my head I was just yeah, Morgan's crazy, and I kind of forgot about it. I wasn't going to come in the next day, if this was something where, you go into the office and everyone watched it the night before. Oh, did you see Morgan with the intestines? Holy shit. It didn't feel like that anymore, and it should have, right? That's the kind of thing that should happen. When Rick bites that dude's throat out, the next day...
That was a better scene.
Well, but the next day we were all holy shit, Rick's crazy. He bit that dude's throat
bites that guy's dick? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about nibbling on your knob. Is Eugene alive?
We haven't seen him, but
I haven't seen him in like
presumably.
4 episodes.
Yeah, he's on a contract negotiation.
He's on a hiatus of contract negotiations.
Yeah.
We still don't know what Eugene's brilliant plan was. I hope it wasn't
Assuming it wasn't
a
the
speed
trenches
bump.
of dead. Yeah.
the speed bump of the dead.
Ugh.
We're grinding to a halt here. I don't have a button.
The button for this is please do better next time. And that's kind of it.
Where do you rank this? Were you like to me?
I
this
wasn't
is-
extremely disappointed,
Okay.
but the problem is you didn't extremely please me with your first episode. And like sometimes it's like, oh, it just built up for the first one, with the second one, kapowie. I wasn't
Right.
kapowed on this one. If you don't kapow me on the third one, we're already in the mid-season lull, and it's gonna get bad, and then I have to wait for a season finale for things to get interesting.
Yeah, like
If I'm on episode 10 and it hasn't got interesting yet, I'm like, well, is there a season 11 or 10?
season 14. No, these sorts of things like you were saying before, like we've said the whole time. It kind of feels like stuff happens now in part 2 of the season that should have been what was the finale of part 1, and now we have new business to deal with, right? These feel sort of like hangover things, and they literally are, because some of these things were like moments before, right? Carol and Morgan were like gonna go into the place, and then it was a whole several months waiting or weeks waiting, and then now they're at the place, right? So it's the same sort of thing. Rick and the Junkrats and all that stuff was just about to thing, and now they drove back. Yeah.
Ugh.
They were in the pipe, and now they were still in the pipe the next time, right? And that whole thing.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's this episode. Let us know. Are you pleased with what's happening so far? Give us your predictions.
Do you still watch the show?
Yeah.
I hope so.
All right. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Did I question? I care about you. And did I question? I care about you.